welcome to another episode of Become. My guest today is Greg Goldberg, and I'm very excited to talk with him because he has a lot to share that I'm very passionate about, how we can become not only a better communicator with others, but also a better communicator with ourselves. And we will talk about that. But before we go there, first of all, welcome, Craig. How are you today?
Hi, I'm absolutely fantastic. How are you?
I am great. So, where are you chiming in from?
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas. Viva
hmm
Las Vegas.
Yep. What happens here stays here, except this Zoom or except this broadcast.
That's right.
Not
That
that we're
will
on
go
Zoom. We
out
just
into the
talked
world.
about where we are. Anyway, yes.
Yes. So, why don't you give, before we go into our conversation, why don't you give our listeners just a brief summary of who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So I'm a relaxation expert. I teach people how to relax using sound and vibration. And really, what I'd like to talk about today is really the nervous system and understanding exactly what happens when our nervous system goes into fight or flight, goes into the sympathetic nervous system response, which is the stress response, the anxiety response. And really, what I'd like to bring awareness to is exactly what happens when we get stressed. And the body only has one stress response, whether it's physical stress, emotional, mental, relational. It only has one stressor, and it only has one stress response, rather. And that is, well, we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Look, a lot of people do have stress when communicating with others, and I do have a background in communications, and we could totally talk about that too.
Recently, I really got into studying more what we are going to talk about. I've been watching Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he talks at length about that topic. So I found it very fascinating. And here's one thing, and that's why I'm so glad that I have you on this show today. Uh, Even though I knew a lot of the things, but I didn't know the science behind it. And once I understood it more completely, it made so much sense.
Yeah.
And then I started applying those things. And you know how it works. The universe brings the right people to you, and here you are. So I'm
Here
glad
I
that
am.
we are talking.
I appreciate that. Look, Joe's amazing, and his teachings are absolutely fantastic. Every time Joe hosts a retreat, we sell a bunch of our technology. So I love what Joe's doing. Not related. He's not an affiliate for us. We don't work together. But it's just, again, just turning more people on to what we do and how we do it in a very beautiful way.
Yes. And so I know many people as who are listening experience stress in one way or another. And as you said, emotional stress, physical stress.
Yes.
Um, uh, so, what I would like for you to do to start out with, if you can explain why we maybe react a certain way and why we're not quote unquote getting what we really want because we are in this constant fight and flight
Mm.
uh, situation and our body is not well. So please, the floor is yours.
I appreciate that. That's a big question and a big answer, and I'll try and be as succinct as I possibly can. Look, the reality is this society that we have co-created is a stressful one, and it's complex. Here in the United States, even if you're being an upstanding citizen, there's more things to do over the course of the day than you have time to do it. That's right. That's before you even get to the job and work requirements, right? Just working 8 hours a day and then having 4 to 6, maybe 8 hours to yourself, and then 8 hours of sleep every night. There's just not enough time in the day to do all the things you need to do, to clean the house, to take care of the household, to pick up packages, to get your mail, to open your mail, to going to the DMV, like you name it, doing your taxes. Like there's just so many different things that we need to do just to stay on track. That's before anything goes wrong. Flat tire, you know, look, I got a phone call that a friend of mine is in jail, wrongfully accused. Um,
Mm.
Nothing more important than that. I drop what I'm going to do, and it's time for me to write a character letter and talk with his attorneys. And right, that's so. Before we even get to the extenuating circumstances and the challenges in life and the curveballs that are thrown at us, life is already too time consuming, and there's already too many things for us to do just to stay on top of what we need to stay on top of.
Yeah.
So, life is challenging and
Yeah,
difficult.
and the thing is, we are living in this three-dimensional world, and more stuff comes into our lives, and
Every
that stuff
day.
every
Yeah,
and
every day.
yeah, yeah, and every piece of thing that we have adds to that. Almost you feel that burden on your shoulder, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, vying, it's all vying for your attention, right? Forget about the multi-billion dollar marketing agencies and marketing departments that are vying for your attention. Every time you bring in a new piece of anything, you purchase, every time Amazon delivers something to your door, that little something is asking for and demanding a piece of your attention, whether it's a new gadget that you want to use or something that needs you to set up, right? Like there's a very interesting dynamic there.
yeah, so the question is, how can we offset that stress so that we don't feel overwhelmed, because that's for most people that totally feel overwhelmed.
So here's what's actually happening. The human body only has one stress response. We only have one response to stress. It doesn't matter what kind of stress it is. Physical stress, like somebody trying to, an altercation or somebody threatening you physically, emotionally, relationally, nutritionally, um, mentally, it doesn't matter. Any kind of stress that you have, the body only has one response to that stress, and that is the sympathetic nervous system response, otherwise known as fight or flight. And a series of dominoes fall as soon as your body identifies a threat, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, whatever. It could be the same response to reading an email from a boss you don't like at a job you can't stand as somebody trying to threaten your life with a knife or take your wallet, etc. Or frankly, just being in a hectic and chaotic inner environment, right? So like being in public with thousands of people around you, your body is on high alert, and most people don't even realize that. So again, same response, and that is that fight or flight response. And a few things are happening that's really worth mentioning, because I think it's an awareness that you need to be, and then the dominoes that fall behind this. So when your body identifies a stressful situation, it immediately increases cortisol, increases adrenaline, and releases that into the bloodstream. Cortisol makes you hyper focused on whatever's in front of you, whatever the problem at hand is. Also keeps you awake and aware. Adrenaline diverts energy from maintenance tasks in the body, your immune system, rational thinking, digestion, and your reproductive organs predominantly, and there are others, turns those off and says, hey, I don't need to maintain my body right now. I need to defend myself and save my life. And it prioritizes that preservation of life over everything else, which is fine if it's for an hour or two while you deal with something and then allow that to dissipate. Where we get into problems with chronic ailments and chronic issues is when it's day after day, week after week, month after month, all day for your waking hours. If you're in fight or flight from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed at night, day after day, your body is never maintaining itself. You're probably not sleeping well, and you're probably having a pretty miserable existence with all sorts of different issues with your mind, body, and spirit. So dysregulation of the nervous system is probably one of the most common things that we hear about. And obviously these are the audience that we're creating and who we're talking to, but helping you to regulate your nervous system is what sound and vibration therapy is all about. It's very soothing,
And
very
that is
calming,
my
feels
next
amazing.
question.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there has to be something. Now we know the what this how we get so stressed out. So now we know the
Mm-hmm.
stressors. But
Yes.
the more important question is, what can we do? And I know meditation is definitely one. Going out in nature, taking a walk is all easy things we can do. But I would like to know now your sound therapy, or
Yes.
what you offer, what you discovered, how you discovered, that can help eliminate or at least bring the stress level down?
Yeah. So first and foremost, let me just share with the audience because I think it's worth mentioning as we get into the equipment we produce and its pricing and all of that, right? Which we don't have to go into the pricing, but you'll see it when you go to my website. So here are some free giveaways of things that you can do. And you already mentioned a couple of them, and I think they're really worth mentioning. The most important thing is getting a good night's sleep. And my product can help you with that. I can help you regulate your nervous system to make sure that you get a better night's sleep every single day. The other thing is just putting these devices down and making sure that you're creating space at night. You read an email from your boss that you don't like in a job you can't stand, and you're going to that the chemical cascades associated with adrenaline and that increase in cortisol is going to keep you awake. So my technology isn't going to help do that, right? So you need to stop doing that yourself. So good night's sleep first and foremost. Getting out into nature, that could be as simple as walking out in your front yard, taking your shoes off, putting your feet in the ground or the dirt or the grass, getting sun exposure on your body, cuddling and hugging and touching other humans, exercise, right? Like there's a lot of different things that you can do that are free, breath work, and that's nothing more than taking a deep breath. Do that for a minute. You're going to calm and reset your nervous system. So there are a lot of things that you can do, including meditation by itself, which is nothing more than going outside, sitting underneath a tree, and closing your eyes and allowing the thoughts to flow through you. I heard a great quote when it came to meditation over the weekend, and that is, meditation is not about silencing the mind. It is about coming to terms and coming to peace with the noise,
I
which I
like
thought
that.
was really, really interesting. And I butchered that. That's not an exact quote, but it was something along those lines, which I thought was really interesting. Um, a lot of people have some very common misconceptions about meditation
Mm.
and what that means, and hopefully I can shed some light on that during this call.
Yeah.
All of those things that I just mentioned are free. And then if you need more, because a lot of people need more. Some people say, Craig, I can't go outside. There's snow outside. It's cold. There's no sunlight for me to get sun exposure, right? Like there's lots of alternate solutions, and that's where In Harmony comes in. First and foremost, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can stream our music meditations. They're extended music meditations. They're 11 hours. You might be able to hear one that's playing in the background here, designed to bring your home in harmony. We have music meditations that are designed for sleep and music meditations that are designed throughout the day. I highly recommend streaming them. They are completely free. And then beyond that, we have our furniture. So sound and vibration has an unbelievable impact on our physiology to help you to rest and relax. We have an app in the iOS App Store. It's $8 a month. All of the music and the music meditations that are in there are designed specifically to have a physical impact on your nervous system, to calm and relax. You can listen to them through a pair of AirPods or just through the speaker on your phone or through a home stereo system. It is specifically designed to calm and relax the nervous system. It doesn't have to be loud. You don't have to feel the vibrations. Just listening to our app and streaming the music and creating an opportunity for you to sit down, push play on a music meditation, and just lose yourself in the music for 11, 22, 33, 44 minutes, going to make a huge difference on your day. And then from there, if you want to upgrade the experience, you can make an investment in our relaxation furniture, our meditation cushion, the In Harmony Practitioner 2, the In Harmony massage table, or the In Harmony sound lounge, and really drop in to a fully immersive sound and music meditation experience where our technology literally takes your mind, body, and spirit on a journey. We literally take you out of body if you allow yourself to, and allow you to truly feel relaxation. And that's where my introduction as a relaxation expert kind of comes in, because I feel like, particularly here in the United States, we have forgotten how to relax.
Oh, yeah.
Meditation is great, sleep is great, but there are some people who are like, I, I'm originally from New York. I lived in
I know what
Manhattan
you
for
have got
10
to say,
years.
right?
I
Mhm.
speak New Yorker. I speak stress and anxiety, and I understand what it means to go, 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 to overstimulate, to drink coffee and chocolate and nicotine and even tequila and alcohol to a certain degree is an upper. Like I know what it feels like to keep yourself going because you want to get your goals, you want to achieve, you want to succeed. And the reality is, our downtime is as important as our uptime. And if I can use our technology for a 22-minute session, let's say in the middle of the day, if I can get you into a theta brainwave state, and we could talk about that separately, 22 minutes in theta is equivalent to about 4 to 6 hours of sleep.
Yep.
So now all of a sudden in 22 minutes, I can give you the equivalent of that sleep that I talked about that's so important. And now all of a sudden we can optimize our own performance and make sure we're getting the most out of this body, this mind, and this spirit.
And that reminds me on so many, what you shared was just great. I know from personal experiences that I'm a doer. I'm always go, 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 go. The way I grew up and the personality type I am, that got
Yeah.
me into a lot of stressful situations. And throughout my lifetime, I had to learn how to bring that stress down. Music is definitely one of the things. As a singer-songwriter, I write music, and that I'm using also in during my teachings to get people, calm down or just kind of relaxed or hyped up. You can do this with sound.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I remember it's like 30 years ago, when I
Bet it
was
feels like
working.
yesterday.
It does, doesn't it? My body is, when I look in the mirror, yeah, maybe not
A
quite,
little
but
different. We're in there.
but what I wanted to share, what you just said, and I didn't know it back then. I was in a vacation club. I directed a show there, and there was something called brain light. And basically, what it did, it used music, the meditative, but also light to bring down your brain waves into the theta state. And I mean, after I came out of it, it was almost, I had an outer body experience, and people were like, they were coming to me and talking to me like I'm the guardian angels or something like that. It was just amazing. And of course, there was a couple of weeks, but then when you don't do it and you go back into your routine and stress, it's easy and fast forgotten. So, what is your take on when people start using your devices or your tools? Do they have to do it like on a regular basis, or if it's once a day or once a week, or how does that work?
Yeah, look, it's different for everybody, is the short answer. Most people will feel benefit within the first moments of getting on our technology. It just feels amazing. I tell people, especially when you're using our sound lounge or the meditation cushion, I call it peeling back the layers of relaxation, because you will literally feel yourself falling further and further and further and further into our technology, whether you're sitting on it or you're drifting, downward because you're laying down on the sound lounge. You quite literally peel away layers of and you feel muscles. So sound and vibration therapy, the vibroacoustics, we use a technology inside a piece of hardware. It's called a tactile transducer. Looks like this. They're made specifically for us, to a particular spec. And this is there's 4 of them inside the sound lounge, 2 of them inside the practitioner and massage table, 1 of them inside the meditation cushion. And this is what creates the vibration. It's what translates sound into vibration so that you can feel it. Your body is actually physically touching this magnet, which is oscillating because you're sitting on our hardware, and that's what actually creates the vibratory experience. It is very strong. Our amplifiers go to 11. A little Spinal Tap reference, if you remember that movie. I do most of my sessions at a 2 or a 3. So really, you have way more power than you need, and it is a very powerful experience. And the the vibrations, they tickle your soul. Like, it's the only way that I can explain it. Sitting on my meditation cushion, your teeth chatter, you feel your earlobes and your cheeks moving up and down. Like, it's a very powerful experience, and it feels amazing. So to answer your question, when I first got access to this technology 7.5 years ago, I was on it 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. I would wake up, I got on it in the afternoon. At some point, I'd want to pick me up. And then in the evening, I would use it to wrap up and wind up my day. Today, I'm probably on it once a day. I'm around it every day, so I feel the vibrations every single day. I stream music through my Sonos sound system every single day, all day, and most of the night as well. My daughter sleeps to frequencies instead of a sound machine. She sleeps to frequencies. And then by default, I'm listening through the monitor, so I'm listening to her frequencies at night. And when I'm not with her, I sleep with frequencies. Like when I go camping, the silence is quite deafening the first night that I get there. So as my ears and my body adjusts, I actually play music at night so that I can soothe and relax myself. So the short answer is that the longer, well, whatever. The A short answer, long answer to a short question. The science says that the vibroacoustics, which by the way sends a message to every muscle telling it to relax. So not our music and the frequencies, which are designed to entrain the brain, but the physical response that laying on our relaxation furniture has is it literally sends a trigger to every muscle telling it to relax. I call it relaxation from the outside in. So it's not your nervous system telling the body to relax, which can be difficult. It's the vibrations themselves telling the body to relax. And it's really as needed. You can't overdo it. You can't use it too much. I've been on my sound lounge for 4 or 5 hours. I've slept on it overnight. And it's really just as needed. The formal science says it lasts about 18 to 24 hours from your last session, but I know people that have done one session and feel altered and changed for life. So it really depends on the human.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. And I think this is a wonderful way for us to counteract whatever stress is in our lives. Now, let me ask you, was there a time before you got into all of that and now know how to do the stress release? Was there a time that you were like, found yourself in a situation that it was very challenging, or you were in this fight flight response and you were like, I can't go on, or what can I do? What was there a time, and was that the trigger for you to find this?
So I'll tell you, I'm going to answer that a few different ways because I happen to think the human experience is one that is riffled with stress and anxiety. It's just the human condition, right? We all have this negative self talk that we have to combat day in and day out. And there are a lot of different ways to combat that. We have one solution, but there are many. Um, if you've ever been in a fight or hit, you're certainly in those situations where I've got to get up and defend myself, or I need to push through. I worked in nightclubs in New York City for years. There were almost every night we had fights and brawls. And even though I had a pretty hefty security force, I found myself defending myself and in the middle of breaking things up quite often. Um, Absolutely. The the precipice, if you will, that led to me creating this company. I actually joined this company. I did not create it from the ground up. I had a sound lounge experience and I felt amazing. And I was like, this is incredible. I bought one. And then how do how do I get involved and how can I help? And that was 7.5 years ago. If 8 years ago you told me, hey, Craig, here are the benefits of meditation and mindfulness, and here's why it's important for your overall health and wellness, longevity, and stress levels for you to do it, I would have laughed. I would have laughed at you. Like, you want me to sit where and do what? You want me to sit there and do nothing? Like, that just doesn't compute, right? But the reality is, our downtime is as important as our uptime. And the better we can rest, the more efficient we can be in that downtime, the more effective we can be in our go time. And I'm going to share something with you that it's pretty personal, but I immediately thought about it when you asked the question and kind of prepped me for that. Going back, even as we were trading emails and going back and forth, and that is running this business. So I own the business 100% with my business partner Dominic. He is one of the most incredible human beings on the planet. I absolutely love him, his family, and what we're doing. The easiest person to work with. It's the best business relationship I've ever had. Love to all of the other business relationships I've ever had, which are all great. It's not to say it's just the easiest. And because we're both constantly in flow with one another with zero expectation, because we know we're both great operators and great at what we do. Dom and we overlap quite often. We talk every single day. I absolutely love him. If you rewind 3 years ago, if you rewind even, I would say 8 to 12 months ago, this business was literally on the brink of shutting down. And that in any small business that happens over and over and over again. We are a bootstrapped company, meaning that Dom and I have financed everything to get us this far. We have banking relationships, but we have no outside investors. We're not flushed with cash. This isn't like VC funded, and backed, cash flow is very difficult when it comes to managing a product-based business. And really, until the last few months, we've been having record-breaking months since November, since the holiday, Cyber Monday and Black Friday. And it's been very fun to watch. Obviously, we're seeing the fruits of our labor and everything that we've paid off. And I think it's part of what we're doing, the incredible team that we have. I think it's also a product of recording podcasts like this. And it's also the biggest, which is, I think the community is looking for it. All right. The audience, the world is looking for solutions that can help them to curb their own stress and anxiety, which is really getting out of control. It's a pandemic and an epidemic that is happening right now that nobody's talking about, except a handful of us, which I'm grateful for.
So what was your situation that was very challenging?
Situation was, my business was, this was about to close down. Okay. This is a passion project for me. I am very passionate about what we do. You can hear it in my voice as I get talking about this business, and more importantly, the impact that this business has. Our app, the music meditations that we create, the science and the research, the educational tools that we create and present. Even just me being on this podcast gives me the ability to evangelize, not just for In Harmony, but for sunlight and sun exposure and cold therapy. And I got a red light sitting right next to me on my right. There's lots of different modalities that can help us to be better humans and outperform ourselves the day before. Because I don't believe in comparing ourselves to anybody else, but I do compare myself to myself quite often. And the struggling situation for me is running a business, is managing cash flow, is managing when I'm sitting at this desk, sitting in front of 5 screens, by the way, managing what we have going on. And for me to look at my business partner and go, we need $150,000 in the next 2 hours, or they're not going to ship our container and we just missed Chinese New Year, which is going to have this cascade of impact on our business, which is ultimately going to lead to us going out of business. That's a lot to swallow. And it's our technology that helps us go. This is my livelihood, this entire company. I don't do anything else. I have some other investments and I have some other stuff going on.
How did you get over that? I really wanted to, it's always easy to say we are in a good place now, but when you are in that dark place of, we're about to shut our company down
Yeah.
because of this. So in your emotional state that you were, what was going through your mind and what did you do to not shut your business, to actually
Yeah.
get through it?
So the first thing is massive action, right? Recognizing what's going on. And again, this isn't something that just happens overnight. It's something that we're working towards for quite a while, but we're also driven by sales because I don't have outside investment. So if the sales don't come, then right, or if we've spent that money elsewhere, or I mean, there's a variety of different reasons why cash flow gets crunched in a small business. But for me, it's massive action, and the lever that I can press is reaching out and talking to more people, connecting with more people, communicating with more people, talking to more prospective clients that are interested in bringing our technology. And I call it shaking the tree because I'm not a high pressure kind of guy. I don't want to put pressure on somebody to make a purchase. That's obviously kind of goes against what we're doing here at In Harmony. It's kind of rest and calm and relaxing. So we take a very relaxed, this is actually a marketing company, not a business development company. And when we get into those situations, it's massive action. It's reaching out to people and touching base and finding out what they need and if they're ready to go. I also think there's an energetic energy that is given off by our business and our company and our mentality as to what we're trying to do. And that's where my technology comes in. On the other side of this wall, I have an In Harmony Sound Lounge 2 that's set up. I say this quite often. I am not just one of the co-founders of the company, but I use our technology every single day and I love it. So what did I do? I got on the Sound Lounge. I set an intention of this is what I foresee. This is the vision that I have for how the day is going to go and what's going to happen. And by the way, this too shall pass. And even being on the brink of closing doors, which by the way comes after weeks of me and Dom not getting paid, not taking paychecks, and right. I mean, there's again a lot of things that lead up to that. We always make sure our partners and our vendors get paid. well before we do. So I knew everybody was taken care of that has been helping and supporting what we do. And we've got some great partners that help us do it. Um, but then we go into massive action. Who do we need to talk to? What do we need to do? What conversations do we need to have to make sure that we get through this and bridge the gap to make sure that these products continue flowing? It's way too important of a mission for me, and Dom
Yeah,
for that
I
matter.
can see that. I really do. You are really the product of the product because you are using it and you used it during that time where you said,
Every
okay,
day.
what's going to happen? And just putting that trust into this situation, and also at one point to let go of the outcome, to say, okay,
Yeah.
that's it. I'll do my best. I do whatever I can, but then you have to let go of the outcome and just
Well said.
get it, or present it over to the universe. And
Yeah.
then,
I've left it all on the field. I've done what I can do.
if the people want to learn more about it and read about it, what is the best way to find you?
I am one of the most tangible people on the internet. My phone number is quite literally this phone number that rings this phone right here is literally on the top of my website. IamInHarmony.com is our website. IamInHarmony.com. I'm sure you put a link down below or
Yes, I
somewhere
will.
around this podcast. I am being the two most important words in the English language, because anything after that, you are. Why not be in harmony with the world around you? And that's exactly what we do.
Thank you for all the insights and all the great information that you gave. Best to you and your company and your partner. And I'm sure that it is going to be fantastic. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me.